Hello, hello. This is Laura V from Laura V Studios coming on for Being Divine. This is September 17th, 2024. Oh my. Things are getting a little intense, aren't they? Wow. Like I mentioned yesterday, which I haven't posted yet. I will get them posted. You know, I had made a real shift last week, and this morning it was so clear how much of a shift I had made and how like huge that shift is. Like I am solid now, where I was kind of like vacillating before. Oh no, not anymore. I am solid. And it was really interesting because Sunday night in my community group, one of the ladies was struggling, and I was like, I wanted to help her. I hoped I could help her. I think maybe part of me knew I could help her. Um, but I just said, hey, I don't know what to say or what to do, but I know this to be true. And she had a turnaround, and that was really great. And that's the thing. I said it this morning, and I'm gonna say it again, boy, learning how to handle fear or resistance is so powerful. Just so powerful. It's amazing. Um, when you learn to just not let it get to you and, get as calm as you can and get a little outside objectiveness to it as much as you can makes a world of difference. And just keep on keeping on and just go through it. Just focus on going through is so powerful. So powerful. So this morning, yesterday, my sister got some really tough news medically. And we talked about stuff. And so my heart was a little heavy going to bed last night, but I prayed and to have my guides be with me and help me sleep. And in the morning, wow, 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 I woke up just so bright and it was so clear. And this may sound weird, but it was so clear to me this morning. Because the thing is, back in the 80s, I read a couple of testimonies from some Christian scientists who had had a near-death experience. And what they said was, they left their body, and what they saw was they still had a body, but none of the problems. But they were looking at the body that was like on the table or on the ground or whatever, and then they came back to the body. That was probably, yeah, it was a near death experience. Just they didn't have the whole going to God thing. They just were outside of their body and then went back. But they're like, that's the thing. I mean, I still had a body. Because we were like, well, if we're spiritual, do we have bodies? And like, yeah, I had a body, but it wasn't physical and like mattery, but it still had the same form, still looked the same, just didn't have the physical problems. And it was like, whoa. So so I grew up, and a lot of people know that, once you leave the body, um, you leave all the physical problems, but you're still you, and you move on. And so I was thinking about it. It's like, well, we know that when we leave the body, when it's time to cross over, we'll leave the body and we'll remember and we'll be our spiritual being. It's like we'll remember what it was to be spiritual. We remember, you know, that this human stuff is not us. We'll remember that we are love and that there is no life and matter and all that fun stuff. But the cool thing about right now is we get to remember that here and now. We don't have to wait to cross over to know that. We can know it while we're still in this body. And the cool thing about that is that knowing that then changes how the body looks and behaves in response. So, for instance, if you're dealing with diabetes and high blood pressure, your spiritual being isn't. If you were to cross over or leave your body, you wouldn't have those things. They wouldn't be an issue. So if that's possible, then that can be possible here in the body. We don't have to wait to leave our bodies to have healthy, normal bodies. Because the other thought that came to me, with the problems that she's having, and I've had some physical problems too, and it occurred to me, what really dies isn't us. It's the stuff that made us feel inferior, that made us feel sick, that made us feel a sinful, or however you want to call it, flawed, all of that. That's what dies. And that sense of self, I don't like to use the word die because, oh, it's so dramatic. But it can be transmuted. It can change. For some of us, it can be a gentle, natural thing. And for others of us, it becomes a dramatic, hard thing. It's like what's dying is what isn't us. What's dying is is the thing that we are not. Who we are stays the same. And honestly, I'm perfectly okay with losing the stuff that I'm not. I'm okay with the fearful part of me dying. I mean, it's not a part of me. And that's the thing I've been learning with parts work, parts healing is you've got these parts that are carrying all this pain and this wounding, but you can unburden them of it. They don't have to die. Actually, they can't actually. Energy can change, but it cannot, you know, go. It can only change form. It can't die and go somewhere. That doesn't work. It just gets transformed. And so you can transform. And I remember once I was like, but these parts were created from trauma. So when the trauma's gone, they go. And he's like, no, no, those are parts of you. They don't go anywhere. They're you. They're parts of you that are simply wounded and burdened. And once they're unburdened, they become lighter, happier, healthier parts of you. And then they get to come back and integrate with the healthy system. And you get to be more whole because you have less parts that are split off from you. I was like, he didn't say it that way. I added that last part, but the first part he did. I was like, oh. So these parts of us that die, they aren't really us to begin with. They're just stories, important ones. They teach us things. They teach us things. And then once we've learned the lesson, they get to be transformed and transmuted. So if you were dealing with some fearful stuff, know that you are a divine being and that you are just, you are a being that is so full and powerful that you can't imagine. You will start to imagine. You may not be able to grasp it yet, but you will. And your isness is just so big and so powerful and so just fills all space, just is, and just nothing faces this thing. Nothing, and that's you. This is a part of you that is spiritual and perfect and real and substantial. It's actually the part of you that is really real. Like this is just temporal because the physical body, it's ceases to be and turns back to dust. But the us that we are lives on. And there's so much more of us than what's right here inside this body. Like our isness is around our bodies. Our bodies is like this small part that's inside is inside this energy that we are. And it's more like a hologram than something that's real. It feels real, but it's not really. Like when you can shift your consciousness just a bit, you will feel less mattery and more energy. Yeah, but that's the idea, is that we can grow in spiritual consciousness, and we can always choose love over fear. And every time we make that choice, every time we choose love over fear, we are changing our lives in huge ways. And we're changing the lives of others, because everything that we learn and accomplish as spiritual beings, having a spiritual life, it impacts everyone around you, and goes out and out and out. So the energy work that we do ourselves, but more importantly, the energy work that we do with others in a group, is so powerful, so powerful. Um, and so, yeah, I invite you to come join me in my community, Awakened Soul Space, and experience the amazingness that is this community. It's quite impressive and quite cool. And um, yeah, I would just love to have you join us. All right. Have a good day. And if I don't see you tomorrow, a good few days. Okay. Bye.